What is up, Bears fans? Good morning, Chicago. Welcome to the UK, guys. It is absolutely tipping it down here in the UK. It's cold, it's wet, it's pretty awful. I think it's a standard UK day, really. You know, those who want to know what the UK is like. Not the greatest in place in the moment. Anyway, look, let's talk a little bit of Chicago Bears football. We're going to talk injury report. We've got an unofficial kind of injury report coming out of the Bears yesterday. Obviously, the big one today will be more official after practice. Obviously, as well, be interested to hear what Ben Johnson has to say. We're also going to talk what Dan Orlovsky has been saying, former, obviously, NFL quarterback, has been saying about our Bears offensive line, guys. We're going to talk a little bit of that as well. Obviously, how that may impact against the Packers. It is FGB, guys. It is Green Bay week. It is Packers week, and we all want to ram it down those cheeseheads' mouths, don't we? Can't stand them. Had a few interactions with them on X recently. Genuinely, that fan base. Jeez, man. Oh my God. Can't stand them. Can't bloody stand them. Anyway, look, here is the first injury report of the week. A reminder that the Bears did not practice Wednesday, and these are estimations given obviously from Tuesday and obviously from what we've seen so far. So estimations would be that Ruben Hippolyte, shoulder, did not practice. Worryingly, Carl Monangai, ankle, did not practice. Also, worryingly, Rome Odunze did not practice with a foot injury. Tyreek Stevenson, we know about, hip, did not practice. TJ Edwards, hand, hamstring, limited. Now, that's encouraging to see that TJ is maybe on his way back. Andrew Billings, concussion, was a full participant. Jalen Johnson, full. Dominique Robinson, full. Noah Sewell, full. I suppose, look, let's take the good things from that perspective injury report first of all. Let's take the positives. Noah Sewell and TJ Edwards. Noah being full and TJ being limited. That is good news. Obviously ahead of this game. Tremaine Edmonds still a couple of weeks away from being back. But look, I think that is good news. Even if we can get limited snaps from both TJ and Noah on Sunday against the Packers, it will be good news. I mean, look, we've been having our linebacker core held together with parcel tape and duct tape this season so far. I mean, look, and all respect to DeMarco Jackson, Eamon Ognum-Biega and others for the job they've done this season. But look, having TJ back, who is an absolute monster, and Noah back, who has been brilliant this season, would be a huge bonus in that game, which is going to be one of the biggest of the year, one of the toughest of the year so far against a very good Packers team. So that's positive news there. Jalen obviously as well, positive. He hopefully will have more snaps, more time on the field. That's got to be good news as well. And you never know. Maybe, just maybe, having Jalen Johnson back, having Nashawn Wright performing well. And look, yeah, I get there are weaknesses still to Nashawn Wright's game, but I don't want to discuss them on this video. And obviously Kyler Gordon and CJ Gardner-Johnson as well. You know, hopefully the fact that our secondary may be working a little bit better may actually help the one area of our defense that has really struggled this year, which is the pass rush. You know, look, if we're going to cause Jordan Love problems, and one of the things that Jordan Love is good at is when he has a clean pocket or more time to pass, Jordan Love will pick you apart. You know, I don't personally rate Jordan Love. I don't think he's an MVP candidate. Even the Packers will tell you so. The pass rush of the Bears, though, has been appalling this year. Grady Jarrett, Gervon Dexter, Austin Booker, Montez Sweat have all been massive letdowns this season. And I think, hopefully, with a more functioning secondary and maybe also having TJ and Noah back may help that pass rush cause a few more issues for Jordan Love and a very weak Packers offensive line come game day on Sunday. In terms of the worrying moments, obviously, Rome Odunze, yeah, I get, but there's still DJ Moore, Mike Zacchaeus, there's still Burden, there's still Loveland, there's still Komet, there's still plenty of weapons there. My one concern from that injury report would be Carl Monangai, who's been phenomenal this season. We need that 1-2 punch on Sunday if we're going to come up against a tough Packers defense. A Packers defense that are actually not too bad at run. They've got I think they only average about 2.5 yards on outside runs, obviously not outside zone, which is one of our key running areas, but still very strong on that outside run defense. But having Monangai, hopefully he will be at least limited Thursday and then full Friday and ready for the game to go. We can't afford to be without Carl Monangai. We need that 1-2 punch of Dondre and Kyle for Sunday. Anyway, let's get back to a group who, for me, have been really putting it in for the Bears, and that is this group here, the offensive line. And look, they are, without even having what I would say is an outstanding left tackle yet, An outstanding bunch. They're a great bunch. They are, yes, probably the fourth highest paid in football, but they are, earning their money this season. They are an absolutely phenomenal bunch, this offensive line. And I agree with the comments that have been made by many NFL analysts. They are one of the best groups in football. Drew Dahlman really clicking together now. I thought Jonah Jackson was absolutely fantastic on Friday against the Eagles. I mean, look, coming against Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, who are one of the best 1-2 punches in football, and Jonah Jackson made them look stupid. Daniel Wright's doing a decent job this year, and Joe Tooney is Joe Tooney. The guy is the biggest steal of this season. A 4th-round pick for a guy who's going to be an All-Pro. Outstanding guard. Really good. And Ozzy Trapillo or Theo Benedette, whoever it is, have done a pretty good job. Still weaknesses there, still things to develop and work on, but we've got to remember Ozzy is just a rookie, and obviously Theo Benedette was a UDFA, that we kind of picked up and gone with. So look, this offensive line is very, very good. Now Dan Orlovsky has been having his say on this, and this is what Dan Orlovsky had to say. There would be an offense I would not want to play against, obviously referencing the Bears, if I was in the NFC. Their offensive line is in the conversation for the best offensive line in football. When it comes to the run game, no one has pushed Philly the way the Chicago Bears did. They're pushing defensive linemen into defensive backs, and that's not common in the NFL. Their ability to scheme you up, waste defenders with their motion run game, and the double teams in their running game. This offense running down the ball on early downs is a problem. And Dan Orlovsky's spot on in his assessment there. The way that we manhandled that Philly defense. I mean, look, guys, it's worth remembering that 4-man front of the Philly Eagles absolutely wrecked the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. They owned them. They hammered one of the best quarterbacks in football into the ground. And Joe Tooney was on that team, against in the Super Bowl. This is a great defensive line that the Eagles have. And a pretty good linebacker core as well. But this Bears offensive line smashed them. Now, look, I think Dan Rauschar deserves a whole host of praise for this, and let's hope he, continues in his role, give him whatever he needs to stay. And they're right, obviously you've got as well the scheme ups coming there, the tight ends coming from nowhere to smash people. The wide receivers playing a role in that blocking game as well, not just the offensive line, but the line are doing a great job, opening big gaps, smashing, moving defensive lines around, pushing linebackers around, opening those gaps for D'Andre Swift and Monangai to run into. And, Dan Orlovsky's pretty much spot on with what he says. This is an offensive line heading in the right direction. And, look, yes, we're still not there yet. It's 9-3, and you've got to pump the brakes on any sort of excitement and celebration. But one thing you've got to realize is if you're going to be a playoff team and you're going to have a good playoff run, you look at the teams that do that in the past. They have outstanding offensive lines and very good running games, something the Bears have. Yes, the other element obviously is an outstanding defense. The defense is getting there. It still doesn't rank as highly as perhaps you'd like it to. And I certainly think, having all these starters coming back will certainly help. And the Bears, might be at their fittest in the next couple of weeks on that defensive side of the ball. The stats certainly are not great in terms of, yards allowed on running and yards allowed on passing and total yards allowed, points allowed. But, we are the turnover kings in the NFL at the moment. So that is a massive positive. But yes, there is still elements to improve there. But, good praise where it is for the offensive line. And let's hope that injury report looks a little bit healthier come today. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please check out all our videos as they break. As well, if you've enjoyed the content, please hit a subscribe on the video. Help us to keep on growing and form our US UK community. Thanks for watching, guys. Bear down.